I'd like to call to order the Springboro Board of Education meeting for December 14th, 2022. Roll call.
Bath. Here. Stuckey.
Here.
Palage.
Here.
Goods.
Here.
Playhouse. Here.
Rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2.2, is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
Second?
Roll call.
Bath.
Yes.
Stuckey.
Yes.
Palage.
Yes.
Goods.
Yes.
Playhouse. Here.
1.3, is there a motion to approve the November 16th meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
Bath.
Yes.
Stuckey.
Yes.
Palage.
Yes.
Goods.
Yes.
Playhouse.
Yes.
Moving on to 2.1, presentation of the OSBA Media Honor Roll. Okay, stop.
Board President, members of the board, we are here tonight to recognize the district representative to the Ohio School Boards Association Media Honor Roll. Given the people in the audience, the suspense is killing you, I'm sure. I just want to go over a couple of things just about media, press relations, and things like that in the district before we get to the big surprise. Media coverage, it's an outlet we use to promote great stories within the district. Most often, anytime I mention that the news is coming out to your building, it's met with groans or, oh, what now? Sorry, but it's true. But with news, like any school district, you got to take the good with the bad. Tonight is a special moment as we get to honor the great coverage our district has received, most notably from one reporter. As of today, we have completed 79 school days on the district calendar. Since August of this year, we have published 140 unique positive stories about the district across our district channels. This comes out to an average of almost 2 positive stories per day about our district that can be shared amongst the community. Just last month, we had 2 separate stories about Springboro schools that reached a national level, one being covered by CBS News, and another one shared across global social media networks reaching 1 million viewers. Tonight, I'm happy to recognize a reporter with WKRC TV Local 12 in Cincinnati. This reporter has covered 5 stories for the district over the past year. These stories included the impact on supply chain issues in our cafeterias, as well as Springboro Intermediate students writing get well cards for Aaron Day, Clear Creek Township officer injured in line of duty. The stories that stood out most from this reporter were the 3 stories over the past year about Keegan Atkins, 4th grade student at Dennis Elementary, currently in remission, battling acute lymphoblastic leukemia, also recovering from a bone marrow transplant last year. The trust gained by this reporter to interview the Atkins family story went above and beyond, in my opinion. After her work on 2 stories with Keegan last school year, this reporter was the only reporter the Atkins family had agreed to cover the latest story that was done for Keegan, which I thought was a great testament to the work that she had done. But before we get to the recognition, I did want to share an example of her work. So I'm going to play a news package video. This is a story on Keegan Atkins from October of this year.
School class gets a big surprise from WWE superstar Titus O'Neil.
4th grade student Keegan Atkins may not be fighting inside the ring, but his fight outside the ring caught the attention of his wrestling hero.
Genesis Nero shows the special moment when he and his classmates get invited to a Super Show live event. It's a story you'll see only on Local 12.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? In Mrs. Cluen's 4th grade class, I am WWE Superstar and Global Ambassador Titus O'Neil.
It's not every day a fourth grade class gets a personalized message by a celebrity.
At Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, we definitely know a little bit about fighting. But there's an individual in your classroom, Keegan Atkins, that knows a lot more about fighting outside of the ring.
Keegan Atkins is the definition of a fighter. Since 2014, he's had 4 bouts with cancer and most recently a bone marrow transplant. Now in remission, this WWE superfan had no clue Titus O'Neil heard his story.
October 22nd, we have a WWE Super Show in Dayton, Ohio, and you, Miss Clueless class, are all invited as our guest at WWE.
We all get to go.
Pure excitement and cheers echo in Keegan's classroom. It's a surprise no one saw coming.
Well, I was really excited because I've been asking my mom and dad to go for a while.
He's never been to a Super Show live event. Now he gets to experience it with all his classmates.
I got you a ticket. Let's go.
I was really excited to know that a WWE superstar sent me a video and is supporting me.
The real ones are way heavier.
Deservingly so, Keegan's fighting spirit earned him this championship belt. He plans to wear it paired with his favorite WWE shirt for the Super Show.
Keegan Atkins, keep fighting, keep inspiring those around you. And we'll see you on October 22nd at Dayton, Ohio's WWE Super Show! Wow!
In Springboro, Jenna Cisneros, Local 12 News.
Never did I think WWE would be brought up in a board meeting. The criteria for the selection to the OSBA's Media Honor Roll includes the individual's effort to report school news in a fair, accurate, and balanced manner, give a high profile to positive news about schools, visit the schools, and maintain a policy of no surprises. So please join me in congratulating Jenna Cisneros as an Ohio School Board Association's Media Honor Roll recipient for Springboro.
This really is like no greater honor. I never win anything because I don't do this to win awards, right? You know, you do this because you love storytelling. And for me, I don't want the groans when I come into schools because I like to brand myself as the good news reporter and, you know, the people first, the people stories that everyone wants to share on their Facebook. Because, I mean, you meet a kid like Keegan, you know, what a fighter. The whole school loves him. Every person that's seen this story loves him. I mean, how could you not? And, you know, stories like these aren't made possible without someone like Scott. I work with every district you can think of in the greater Cincinnati area, and I have no problem driving the hour that it comes to get here to Springboro because we get stories like this. And he's so awesome with sending stuff, even when we can't make it. If, you know, the world is ending that day and, you know, our crews are just sent everywhere and every place. He always makes sure we can get videos, pictures, anything like that, and also gives us great stories like this. And these are the stories that need to be in local news, and I'm like a firm believer of that. I hate the doom and gloom, and, you know, I hope that these stories just resonate with everyone. So again, it's really an honor to be here, and thank you for nominating me.
Thank you. And then we'll do a photo.
That's really nice. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, let's definitely get a picture. I want to put it on Twitter. That's me.
You wore Springboro blue.
Oh, I planned it, you know. I did plan it.
Yeah, we can, if you want to go.
Well, you want to be in it?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
get
you should be in it.
Take
You're in like all
Okay.
these stories.
Sure. You guys want to scoot down? Is that? You guys getting in or what?
You guys want to be in it? It's just kind of like, it's all good.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
That was a lot. Guys, thanks again. Really awesome. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I didn't know I was going to make noises when I started talking.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I love it. I love that color. So pretty.
How do you get this as well?
Guys, have a great Christmas. Everything. Happy holidays, happy New Year.
You too.
See y'all.
All right. Okay, 2.2, check donation recognition, the Goddard School.
Absolutely. So I wanted to give you all a little bit of background about this. I received a call from Lena, who is over with us over there tonight, and she was calling me about Giving Tuesday, which I didn't know anything about Giving Tuesday. And so when I called her back, she explained what Giving Tuesday was, and because her sister and her were discussing how to honor not only the 20th anniversary of the Goddard School, but then just what their father had fostered in them all through their growing up years about giving back. They decided that they wanted to figure out a way that they could partner with us, the school, because Lena and I are on the same page that we are determined to reduce student stigmas, whatever they might be, however we can do that one stigma at a time. And so she had the idea, after talking with Kathy Poor, let's focus on food insecurities, and which can be a stigma for students. And in order to do that, her sister and her decided to donate $20,000 to our food service program, because every child has a right to food and a right to eat, but there is a cost to that, as we know. And so they do not want any of our students to have to hide that they don't have money, or that they forgot money, or whatever the reason is that they can't eat lunch. Lena and her sister want to make sure that that barrier is reduced. So we are very appreciative of that. And I was hoping Kathy might have a few comments on how we would utilize that money.
Well, we had the conversation a while ago, and they were very passionate about what do we do in Springboro if students don't have lunch money. And I told her they'd come through the line like everyone else, and we charge that meal. We do a lot of phone calls to parents, a lot of emails, but the child themselves, you know, they may know that they have a debt, but it's not brought up why they're coming through the lunch line. They do. I have parents calling me like, I know I owe money, the check's at home, I'm at work, I can't get online. What's gonna happen today? I had a call today from a dentist parent. I said, he's gonna come to lunch with his class like everyone else, put his number in, get his lunch, and go eat. And so, you know, we don't do an alternative meal anymore. We discussed that in an administrative meeting, and coming back from having free lunch for all was a huge, huge challenge to families, to us, to get the word out. And it took several months to get through to parents like it's not coming back, unfortunately. So, you know, we couldn't punish the students because they were just used to being able to come and lunch was free for all, and then suddenly that rug got yanked up from underneath. So we're very fortunate here. We don't have a high population of needy students, but there are still students that maybe don't qualify for a free reduced meal that are still struggling. So we try to partner. We do get a lot of donations. I'm very grateful in Springboro that we do from graduating seniors. Their parents will donate just the money they had, put it in a fund. So we manage that fund out of the treasurer's office. Cindy Florio manages that, and I just, if I need money, here's the kids that I need money for, and she releases the fund. So we're very, very so grateful for this donation and for them thinking of our students. And when I told my staff, because I was surprised as well that it was going to be $20,000, so I started to tell my staff, and they were just, you know, some of them were brought to tears because they know families, and most of my ladies live here in the district or in a neighboring district, and they know families that are struggling. So for them, that was huge, that they're sharing, you know, something they learned from their families. So we're very grateful for the Goddard School to think of the students here. So we will put that money to good use, and it will hopefully last quite a while. So we're grateful.
Well, that Tuesday sure beats Taco Tuesday. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yeah, go ahead.
Is this something, Kathy, thank you, I know you're in your just, you do an amazing job of not singling students out. But to your point, I'm sure the student knows when there's, it's questionable, and it's something that they feel like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? And so I just know your team does a great job, so thank you for that. Will this cover kids that are like outside the gap of publicly funded to where they get it free or reduced, but their parents aren't quite, like they're still struggling?
Yes.
Will that help cover that?
Yes,
level?
because we do have a lot of students whose family do apply, know that they're going to be free, and then they become reduced. And it doesn't sound like a lot, 40 cents a day, but if you have 4 children, it adds up pretty quickly. For those that are on free lunch, they can get their fees waived. If they're reduced, their fees are not. So then that's another huge challenge for that family, and a disappointment, that they're not going to be able to qualify for that. Kids that are, borderline, because there's a lot of them, like you barely are over the threshold, and those are the families that struggle. And when they call me, because I'm the one that does free reduced applications, I try to connect them also with Wendy Broadgen, so that she can give them other resources that I don't have access to let them know. A lot of people are surprised that we even have a food pantry in Springboro. They're like, you do? I'm like, yeah, it's right next door. So we do a lot of partnering with her as well, because her resource officers, I cannot say enough about her resource officers, because I will contact them, or when, well, I usually go to Wendy and then she'll send me the right resource officer. When we do see a family that's struggling, my head cooks or a cashier that will call me and say, something's not right here. Like they used to always have money, or the child is saying, we're struggling. Because the little kids tell everything. So then that's when I contact her, and she reaches out to those families to say, hey, what can we do to help you? Because what those people can offer, I mean, I can't tell you how many families they're helping for Christmas, how many they helped for Thanksgiving, what the students do here for those families. So there's stuff out there, that can help them besides just at school.
Right.
And they do a phenomenal job helping those families that are kind of like you fall through the cracks, you know what I mean? Like I might be a middle class, but I'm still struggling. The other issue we struggle with is getting the word out to parents that you can apply at any time. So maybe you had a great job in August and you think, well, I missed that vote. It's October and now I lost my job. So when the resource officers find out that there is a need, that's one of the first things they do is say, how can we help? Let's try to see if we can get your child a free lunch in school. So they do help me. I had several phone calls today from resource officers. We have a lot of new families moving in January, and they're reaching out to those families like, here's the application, let's do it right now. So it's so helpful to have those people. A lot of the secretaries call me and say, they're new, they're asking, where's the form, how do I fill it out? So they're helping. So it's a group effort, so it is.
So because this does allow, because of the additional funding for that gap, like, will administrators and like people, like if it doesn't elevate to Wendy, or if a principal is unaware, but a teacher is aware, and let's like, is it gonna trickle down that way also? I'm not sure who I should be asking this to. Since it doesn't, they don't necessarily have to qualify, the staff would be making the determination that they fit into that bubble, because we've never had this as either it's free, reduced, or you pay full.
Correct.
So this, I feel like, is a great area, and it's great because especially with the cost of everything right now.
And Wendy and her team, they know that we will have this resource and they'll evaluate per family or per student situation.
So does she have somebody in each building? Like I think
Resource
Wendy,
coordinators? Yeah.
Okay, that was my question, okay.
She does, and a lot of the teachers, people that have lunch duty, especially in the elementary schools, if they see a child that is not coming through the lunch line and they don't see a bag or a lunchbox at their table, they're going to bring them in and say, did you forget your lunch? Did you leave it on the bus? I don't have lunch today. Well, they're going to walk them in and say, we have a child that hasn't gotten lunch yet. So they do really look to see, to make sure that everybody has something on their plate. So they're pretty good. I have to say they're very good here. It might be something that the administration wants to look at. The district I came from, we waived the reduced lunch fee. We covered that out of our food service fund. So So if you qualified for reduced meals, your meal was covered. It was free for them, even though they were in that threshold. And the only difference on the back side of that is you're not getting the free reimbursement, you're getting the reduced reimbursement from the federal government for that. So that 40 cents difference that the student normally would pay, we covered it with the food service fund. So we just felt that that was an important thing in the district I came from, because we were a pretty high free and reduced, and like I said, $2 a week doesn't sound like a lot until you have a lot of students that you have to pay that for. So, and school fees and all the other things that they have to pay. So it might be something that we could look at as a district to see if that's something we want to do.
Well, thank you to Lena and Bettina. This is, I mean, what a blessing for these families, that you just hear so many families that they're just like, all these little things are really adding up. So thank you for that donation. And it was neat hearing about your dad, because I had not heard that part of it. And, you know, I think what is in front of them right now are letters to my son's troop platoon in Alaska, because I put out that I was looking for some classrooms. And we've got some Springboro, and then they jumped in and they're like, we'll cover whatever you need us to cover. So it's not even just the financial, but it's just giving back to people. So if your dad is still alive, or if he is not, he should be very proud of you all with how you are leading your school and your family. So thank you for that.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks again. Springboro Education Association, don't think anybody's there. Classified. Nobody. We didn't have any prearranged. Any public participation on any agenda item? Excuse me. All right, move on to 3.1 work session. Public participation after each item. If there's any questions, can ask them then. And then we'll go to 3.2, 2023 board meeting dates.
Yes, so I present you 3.2, which is a proposed draft for 2023. I believe it's here. So I'm asking, and Tara and then Ashley, if you all would look that over, and then by January 10th, if you see anything that stands out as not workable, let us know, and we'll kind of figure out, make some adjustments to these dates.
Do we need to add the offsite or the retreat or whatever we're calling it?
Oh, that would just be a, that'll be a
Special day, okay.
Conflict with the Career Center, Lisa.
Well,
Check
I
that.
usually check
So
all
check
of
that.
that. Yeah, well, and ours are Thursday nights, so,
Thursdays.
yep. I did have a question. I did look at the November one. Is that the same week as Capitol Conference? Do you know? Is that? I'm asking.
You don't want to come back.
Well, this year it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then it was board meetings Wednesday, Thursday. So if there's any flexibility with that week, if we know when conferences, that was a rough week. So that would be my only input.
Probably is.
Probably
It
is.
probably is.
Because
It's always
we'll
spring.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
We'll look into that and probably adjust.
Okay, thank you.
Good call on that one. It was hard.
It was a hard week.
All right. 3.3, 2024.
24.
Organizational meeting day?
I know, it's January 10th, 2024. We always have to set that.
A year ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it, okay, I was waiting for somebody.
You say no way.
Okay. 3.4, high school, is that right? Preps, MOUs.
Yep. Board President, members of the board, today we bring before you a memorandum of understanding with the teachers union. In the contract, it has language in there that's been standing about when teachers have prep periods more than 3, then we compensate them. And it establishes work rules for us for if they have 4 or 5 preps. This year we had 3 teachers that have 6 preps. So the memorandum of understanding covers that language so that we're able to compensate them through the treasurer's office. Now, we looked into this to say, why is this occurring? Because, one thing I've been talking to you guys about all year is retention, right? And who really wants to work here is if they have so many preps, they're running around so much. So there's 2 buckets that this falls into. One, it's our choir teacher. And, I don't think, in talking to Mr. Martin, the high school principal, I don't think we'll get away from him having so many preps. And I think it's a little bit easier for him to prep than it is maybe some other teachers. So that's one. I think he was part-time in the past, and he's on full-time. So this money that we're spending on his 6 preps, it's really opportunity for kids. And to me, I'll tell you, I think that's worth it. The other 2 teachers are special education teachers, and there's kind of 2 perfect storms that have created this. One is we had been down an intervention specialist all year, and we recently actually had one that is now working for us. So when we were down and spread our special ed population of teachers a little bit thinner than normal. The second reason is the 2 teachers who have 6 preps, they both teach like in a cross-categorical unit. And the kids who are there this year just happen to have a profile of more spacing in grades 9 through 12. So then what happens is, like, if those teachers serve at 6 kids and one's in 9th grade, one's in 10th grade, one's in 11th grade, one's in 12th grade, and they're going to push into the language arts class, it automatically then pushes the preps up to for them to be in more classes and support kids in different types of environments. Whereas with kids who are in inclusion, a lot of times we can cluster them and not have to have teachers spread so thin. So it's kind of the profile of the students that they work with.
I had that 3 years where I had 4 pros. They gave me everything back then. All right. Go ahead, you got the next 2.
3.5, yeah. So we put some information before you about increasing our sub rates. And the motivation behind this came because minimum wage is going up to $10.10 starting January 1st. And we actually had a couple of our sub classifications that were below that. So there was, again, 2 types of increases. One that got us above minimum wage. And then second, I know in Scott's department, the business managers throughout Southwest Ohio are looking into how much we pay all kinds of different classifications for all kinds of different reasons. And based on his collaboration with that group, there's also been a bump in a couple of the other classifications.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Any committee reports? Other business? All right, move on to the treasurer.
All right. The first item I have for you tonight is the financials for November of 2022. Not a lot is changing from month to month now for the next couple months, with a couple things that will happen in December. But for revenue, the revenue came in for November at just under $1.5 million per month. 1.25 of that was state funding, 48,000 was rollback and homestead that we typically receive at this time of the year, and then the rest of it was miscellaneous revenue, about 155,000 for pay participate fees, listing fees. Our expenses were nearly identical as they were in October, only actually a few $1,000s different. They came in at just under $5 million. And currently I'm working through cash flows, and I'm preparing a mid-year review for you. Something I don't typically do, but I think going forward was a good thing for us to do. The mid-year review of how we are after half the school year is over. I'll have that finished by early January, once we close in December, and then we have 6 months of data. But looking at cash flows through November, we're running about 93,000 under budget, which from my estimates, so within 93,000 of what I currently expected us to be so far, so really tight, but we're looking decent. We ended November at just under 19 million of cash on hand, which is about 115 days of operating cash. And I'm anticipating that to be around 85 days by the time we close the fiscal year. And I did want to just point out, we have now $23,355 in our food service meal balance account due to the nice donation, the generous donation. So I wanted to point that out. So close to 24,000 almost. So that's and the
You got a
detail.
photo? Okay.
Well, yeah, the detailed financials are on there for you, all of the data, but that's just an overview. And so we do have to vote on that separately.
Tara, I have one quick question. This is a little out of left field, so I apologize. On our scholarships, out there in CDs. Is Fifth Third helping us get higher rates given the interest rate environment? I mean, I'm thinking really of this Patricia McCandless one that's $500,000. I mean, we should be getting some decent.
We do. I
Interest
actually
rates now.
invest the money, and
Okay.
we can do commercial paper and short-term notes. Those are the only things that school districts are allowed to invest in legally.
Okay.
And so I have all of the money outside of what we're going to be actually issuing for a school year invested into those short-term notes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I do that with all of the scholarship accounts.
Okay, wonderful.
Anything else? Okay, is there a motion to accept 4.1?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call? Okay.
Bab?
Yes.
Stuckey?
Abstain?
Palage?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Playhouse?
Yes.
All right, and then the rest of the items I can kind of go through quickly. Item 4.2, approval of donation of $100 gift card from Double Check Research to Cheryl Winter to be used by the curriculum department. Item 4.3 is an approval of a donation of office supplies valued at $25 from Patty Kemper that we kind of spread out through the district. So that was nice. Item 4.4, approval of a donation of $20,000 from the Goddard School to the Student Meal Balance Fund. Item 4.5, approval of a donation of $25 from Gray and Janet Urban to the Student Meal Balance Fund. Item 4.6, approval of a donation of $100 from Brian and Elizabeth Hummelgarn for the robotics program. Item 4.7, approval of a donation of $100 from the Rotary International District number 6670 to the high school jazz choir.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept 4.2 through 4.7?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Bab?
Yes.
Stuckey?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Playhouse?
Yes.
Mrs. Hester?
Yes, item 5.1 is the second reading for all the policies that we discussed last month. And I believe still have the summary.
I just want to thank you for that summary. That was super helpful, especially when we've got so many that we're doing the updates for. So for whoever prepared that, thank you. It was very helpful.
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Bab?
Yes.
Stuckey?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Playhouse?
Yes.
All right, approval of personnel report, Mr. Becker.
All right, Mr. Board President, members of the board, I bring for you a personnel report. And just a couple to call out really quick. We have two retirees on the report. One is Ms. Kreidoff, who's a physical education teacher here at Springboro High School, and she's been with the district for 34 years. And then down at Dennis Elementary, we've got a second grade teacher, Ms. Reese, who was with the district for 25 years.
Yeah, Ms. Krytoff was a student of mine my first year.
You're old, Dave.
Yeah, so was she though. No, that was just in 1990. All right, enough of that. All right, go ahead. Yeah, you're still up. Go ahead.
6.2, I come before you to ask for the approval of the MOU that we spoke about during the work session. 6.3, I ask for approval of the sub-pay rates that we discussed. 6.4, we're here before you to ask for the approval of a consulting contract for Leslie Netling. 6.5.
Oh, that's right. Okay. 6.5, motion to approve 6.1 through 6.4.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just building on something I think Lisa shared over email, and just on the sub rates, like I think Ray is possibly looking at shortening the window of
For long-term.
the long-term sub. Yeah, I just would sort of be interested in seeing that as well. Like I think it's what 60 days, and I don't know if that's true of other districts, if it's that long before it trips to
20, 60.
It depends, some districts do it differently, but what we're doing right now is we're pulling all that data before us.
Yeah, that would be great. I just
Yeah.
would sort of echo that parents, but I'd sort of be in favor of trying to shorten that window if possible for those long-term subs. So maybe that's just wanted to build on what we can share.
We'll get that information to you guys.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Babb?
Yes.
Stuckey?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Playhouse? Yes.
Okay.
6.6 is the approval of the athletic report, which we have one supplemental. He's a volunteer assistant swim coach.
Is there a motion to accept 6?
So moved.
Second. You got this? Okay. Got it? Roll call?
Babb?
Oh,
Yes.
Babb?
Yes.
Stuckey?
abstain.
Palage?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Playhouse? Yes.
7.1. Approval of the student service and private placement contracts.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. The contract on there is being brought to you as an add to the Hamilton County ESC contract, but I wanted to point out that it is not actually an add to the district. We are dropping the 2 days of BCBA support through Warren County and moving to Hamilton County. That their BCBA reduced her hours and was no longer able to support Springboro, and they didn't have another person, and Hamilton County did. So that's the direction we went. So it is not a monetary increase, but it's in addition to a different contract.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept 7.1?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Babb?
Yes.
Stuckey?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Playhouse? Yes.
8.1, board member reports. Sarah?
I'm just continue to be blown away by the different partnerships of people who continue to give to our community, our schools. It's such a generous donation to help out kids to make sure that nobody goes hungry. So that's really important. And I just would hope that all the Panthers have a safe Christmas break coming up or winter break coming up, and that if anybody travels, to safe travels. Happy holidays.
I echo what Sarah had to share. Just, I think what Bettina and Nina, and on top of that, the other ones, it just shows the heart of Springboro. And, it's neat to see where different people have passions for something, and you see $100 or $500 or whatever. It's just such a generous thing, especially when you reflect on it through the holidays. So, and the other thing that I noted over the last couple of weeks, we had to cancel a couple of bus routes, and I just thank the district. I think you guys did a great job with the communication. It's not what anybody wants. I was in the Daily News today. It is what it is, and I just think you guys have done a great job of keeping routes open and doing everything we can to make it work when it's, and it might even been something that Scott had said. One of the communication people talked about, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, that you're taking, the mechanics away from what they need to do. So I just know that it's a lot, it's got to be a lot on that department. So I think that Springboro has handled it incredibly well with the difficult situation. The last thing was just, it's been neat to see on social media the different band, and I think somebody was in a retirement home and hearing them sing. It's neat to be able to give back to the community and to present to parents. So I think our staff has done a great job of giving kids the time to celebrate the season also. So have a safe holiday.
And again, thank you to Anita and Lena. I mean, they've not only been generous with this donation, but they've quite frankly been generous with this district for years and years and years. And not only that, they've had a great school going that I've had the privilege of sending my 2 kids through. So they do a fantastic job in our community. And again, I think that besides the generosity of the gift, I think there's a timeliness factor with kind of where we are economically as a country. So there's probably a few more hungry mouths than we even normally see. So again, thanks. That's the good news is we can really stretch that along the way, and that's going to make an impact to many lives. So thank you, and kudos to you guys. Can't say enough. Other than that, I hope everybody has a safe, quiet break. Hopefully get sick. It's always kind of the X factor these days, so please stay healthy, and looking forward to coming back in January and hit the ground running, but enjoy your time off. So thank you.
This has been lots of positives this meeting. It was nice right before our break, not the least of which that it's 6:41.
Another positive.
Another positive. But no, it's like everybody has said, just continue to be amazed at the generosity of the folks in this district. So also extend my thanks for the generosity regarding all of the donations that we received this evening. But also wanted to thank Scott. I think it was a good way to start the meeting as well. Just, it's a lot of work to push out, all those positive stories, and just really appreciate the work that you've done to sort of get those out there in the community. I think it's great to highlight all of the wonderful things that are happening in our district, and appreciate that we were able to recognize one of the media members that has helped us amplify those stories. So just thank you to you both, and as everyone has said, just wish everybody happy holidays, and hope there's maybe able to enjoy a little bit of a breather and some time off, and looking forward to, as Mr. Good said, getting started in the new year. I know we've got our retreat scheduled, which I think will be really an important session for us as we get to move forward. So that was it.
About 6:41, you say, I can take some time.
6:42 now. So.
No, I'm not going to do that. Scott, you earn your money well, so appreciate what you do and so forth. All the donations, especially the one from Goddard, Santa Claus came early for that. Other than that, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays and a safe holidays. And I think we're done. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dad?
Yes.
Stuckey?
Yes.
Boulanger?
Yes.
Goods?
Yes.
Lightfoot? Yes.
All right.